Have you ever been there? Scrolling endlessly on your phone, trying to pick the perfect restaurant, relying totally on those star ratings. Or maybe you're on the other side, running a restaurant, feeling that pressure. Knowing your online rep is basically your front door now. It's definitely a crowded space. So for restaurant owners listening, or really anyone curious about this stuff, we're going deep today. The big question for 2025, Google reviews or Yelp. Where did you actually, strategically put your time and money?
It really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Especially for local businesses. And for this deep dive, we're leaning on some sharp insights, mainly from a Foodcus piece called Google Reviews versus Yelp. What matters most for restaurants in 2025? Our goal here really is to cut through all that noise. We want to figure out what truly moves the needle and give you a clear, actionable idea of where your energy makes the biggest difference online.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with, well, the obvious giant in the room. The source makes it really clear. Google is the powerhouse for restaurant reviews this year. No question. It's not just, another platform. It's fundamental to how people even find a place to eat now.
Exactly. And what's key is how deeply Google reviews are woven into the customer's whole journey, almost invisibly sometimes. Google's dominance comes from just unmatched built-in exposure. Think about it. The reviews are right there in Google search results. And maybe even more importantly, in Google Maps. The data suggests something huge. 9 out of 10 customers begin their search for food right there.
Wow, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, so your reviews aren't just out there somewhere. They're right at that first point of contact. You pop up exactly when someone's actively looking.
So it's not just about having good reviews, it's where they are, how easily people see them. That's a massive edge.
Precisely. And it feeds directly into local SEO, search engine optimization for local results. The number of reviews you have, how good they are, how recent they are, all that stuff directly boosts your restaurant's rank in local searches. Think about it practically. Someone pulls out their phone, types best sushi near me. Those top results, they're heavily influenced by Google reviews. Yelp doesn't have that same pull in the search results themselves. So Google reviews don't just build trust, they actually build your visibility. They lead directly to customers.
Right. They help people find you and choose you.
That's the core of it.
Okay, so it's pretty clear Google reviews are this powerful engine, driving visibility, driving trust. Let's pivot. What about Yelp? The original player? Maybe. Does it still have the kind of influence it used to?
Yeah.
Or is it starting to feel a bit dated?
Well, Yelp definitely still has its corner. The analysis we looked at acknowledges that. It's useful in specific situations. For example, it's still really popular in certain U.S. cities. Think San Francisco, maybe Seattle, New York, too. And it does have this unique review culture. It often encourages really detailed, longer reviews, which some people prefer.
Okay, so more in-depth feedback sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And you have these loyal users, a niche group maybe, who swear by Yelp. They often use it specifically to avoid tourist traps. They're looking for something they feel is more authentic, more local.
Interesting. So not dead yet. But it sounds like its influence isn't quite what it was across the board. Kind of like a popular local radio station versus Spotify.
That's actually a pretty good analogy. When you look at the bigger picture, yeah, Yelp's influence has definitely shrunk compared to Google. A big issue is just visibility within Google search. Your Yelp page just doesn't show up as high or as often. Then there's the user experience on Yelp itself. Sometimes it can feel a bit, cluttered with ads.
Right, like you're trying to read the menu through a bunch of flyers.
Kind of. And critically, there seems to be a bit of a trust issue sometimes. People talk about the review filter, how some reviews get marked not recommended. It can feel a bit mysterious, frustrating for users and businesses. Plus, just managing the business page on Yelp can be, let's say, less straightforward than keeping your Google business profile updated.
Okay, so the landscape's definitely shifted. Yelp has its loyalists, its strong cities, but it's facing real headwinds, especially with search visibility and maybe user trust compared to the Google ecosystem.
Exactly. But you know what really tells the story? The numbers. And the data for 2025 is pretty eye-opening.
Okay, let's get into that. This is where it gets really interesting, right?
Yeah, the stats paint a very clear picture. The source highlights that over 90%, again, that huge number of mobile local searches start on Google. Just think about that behavior. You're out, hungry, grab your phone. 9 times out of 10, you're opening Google or Google Maps.
That's overwhelming.
It is. And then there's the volume. Google generally has over 5 times the review volume compared to Yelp in most places. What does that mean for a restaurant? Well, places with more Google reviews, especially good ones, consistently get higher click-through rates from search. And crucially, more actual foot traffic coming directly from Google Maps. It forces you to ask, where are my potential customers really looking right before they decide where to eat?
And the answer seems overwhelmingly clear from the data. Yelp might matter for some specific people or places, sure, but Google is where the vast majority are looking and deciding.
That's the takeaway.
So what does this all mean for restaurants, for the owner trying to, win on Google without just adding tons more work?
Right, because nobody has endless time. What's interesting is the source points towards smarter strategies, often involving automation. Things like automating how you ask for reviews for both dine-in customers and delivery orders.
How does that work practically?
It could be integrating prompts into your POS system, maybe sending automated email follow-ups for online orders, or even simple things like QR codes on tables linking to your Google review page. Another really smart tip: prompt customers for feedback on specific dishes,
Ah, okay. Why specific dishes?
because that naturally gets valuable keywords like amazing ramen or best tacos into your reviews. Search engines love that. Then there's automating your responses to reviews, using tools to send out quick, polite, on-brand replies, acknowledging feedback without manually typing every time. And the absolute basic but crucial: keep that Google business profile totally up to date. Hours, photos, specials, it builds trust and helps your ranking.
So it's about setting up systems.
Exactly. These kinds of automated solutions let restaurant owners focus on, running the kitchen, managing staff, creating great food, not getting buried under manual review, chasing and responding.
Okay, so pulling it all together, the verdict for restaurants in 2025 seems pretty unambiguous. Google reviews are absolutely essential. For visibility, for trust, for getting people in the door. Yelp, well, it shouldn't be totally ignored. Maybe keep an eye on it, especially in certain cities.
Yeah.
But your main focus, your resources, your time, overwhelmingly, strategically, it needs to be Google.
Absolutely. It sounds simple, but you just have to be where your customers are already looking. If you're not optimizing for Google, it's like having this amazing hidden gem restaurant, but nobody knows the address.
A perfect summary. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. It's fascinating how quickly this digital landscape keeps changing.
It really does. And it makes you wonder, right, as these platforms keep evolving and we see more AI tools getting smarter, what do you think is next? What's the next frontier for building real, authentic customer trust online, beyond just automation and showing up in search results? Something to think about.